Assalamualaikum and good evening. Welcome to Galaxy News. I'm Dalilah Zainol Abidin. So in today's segment, we would like to discuss on the theory of feminism. So feminist theory is a range of political movement, ideologies and social movement that shares a common goal, which is to define and advance political, economic, personal and social rights for women. So this includes seeking to establish an equal opportunities for women in education and employment. As for now, the wave of feminism is seen as characterized by action-based, viral campaign, protests and movement from the fringe of society into the headline of our everyday news. Hence, to know deeper about this theory, Ms. Farina will be explaining the background of feminism theory in the first session, whereas the contribution of feminism theory will be explained by Mr. Aiman Rosli and Ms. Nurin Ayuni in the second session.
Thank you so much, Dalilah, for the amazing introduction. Now you're here with me, Fathin Farina, with the background of feminism. Feminists believe that both men and women should have the freedom to develop their human interests and talents, even if those interests and talents conflict with the status quo. For example, if a woman wants to become a mechanic, she should have the right and opportunity to do so. Since the experiences and perspective of women were historically excluded from years, both from social theory and social evidence, women have been deprived of equal rights, status, and opportunities by getting labeled as a fragile section. For instance, Jordan is a state with one of the world's lowest rate of female participation in the labor force. Even though Jordanian women are amongst the most highly educated in the region, according to the World Bank, only 13% of Jordanian women were participating in the formal labor market. This is due to lack of childcare facilities, low or unequal pay, and the lack of public transportation. Therefore, we can see that the background of feminism is that it's a philosophy of law based on the political, economic, and social equality of sexes. It is about viewing the social world in a way that eliminates the forces that create and support inequality, oppression, and injustice, and in doing so, promotes the pursuit of equality and justice without any social prejudice or male domination. It carries the study of standards and application of different issues that have developed and emerged within feminist thoughts and eventually became a theory. Feminism believers seek to pressure the lawmaker in providing a wider freedom upon women in the patriarchal system. The focus is on changing the law for the better of women, just as how the law ought to be. Now, let's proceed with the contribution with Aiman and Nurin.
I will now explain on the first contribution of feminism, which is laws on pornography. According to Merriam-Webster, pornography is defined as the representation of sexual conduct, either in the form of photos or text, with the intentions of eliciting sexual excitement. With the advancements of technology and the internet, pornography, photos and videos are easily accessible and available for free on the internet. Pornography is dangerous and may harm the idea of having equal standard of men and women. According to Catherine McKinnon, who is an American feminist, she stated that pornography conveys the message that women exist not as equal human beings, but as things to satisfy men's sexual appetites, by which it teaches and encourages men to treat women as inferior. Not only that, McKinnon further stated that pornography movies or films degrades the woman who features in the pornographic films, as most of them are forced to do it, by which they are not doing it voluntarily. As feminism theory is against the idea of pornography that sexually degrades women's right from having equal right as to men, feminism theory have contributed to the laws on pornography, by which feminists have conducted campaigns to make laws against any act related to pornography. For instance, one of the earliest contributions made by feminists in Britain was a campaign known as the Campaign Against Pornography and Censorship, CPC, by which they have worked with councils in proposing laws to take actions against any person that distribute the content of pornography, which include the people involved in the pornography industry itself. Other than that, another example of contribution is the movement of feminist group in New South Wales, Australia, that demonstrated to their local government as to the conceptions of harm from having pornography, which has affected the legal reform process. The government has taken various opinions from the society, including proposals submitted by Henry, Powell and Flynn, which was referred by the members of parliament in drafting the laws against pornography. Now I will pass to my friend Nurin for another contribution of feminism.
Thank you, Aiman, for the explanation on the first contribution of the feminism theories in respect of laws on pornography. Moving on to the next contribution of the feminism is the equality of women's right in respect of right to education. Right to education is a basic human right for a human being. Having education helps people to get access to all of their human rights, and it helps to improve an individual's chances in life and tackle poverty. Feminist jurisprudence has arisen as a result of how women being treated in the past. It is a strong protest against the discrimination and resistance to injustice to the womankind, especially as to their right to education. Feminist theorists has examined the law from their perspective and find it highly unsatisfactory. For instance, in the case of 7 women, including Sophia Jacks Blake, admission to the University of Edinburgh Medical College was refused not only by the educational institution but also by the court, where the judges also suffered from prejudice and refused to help them. All sorts of arguments were advanced by the university to block their admission, such as on the ground that the institution has been founded for the education of male students only and no female could get the admission. The feminists discovered the character of law as being unjust, unfair, insulting, degrading, and devaluing women. Catherine McKinnon, a feminist theorist, viewed that the gender difference created by the society can be undone by political forces. Article 5 of the United Nations Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women has imposed measures to be adopted by the states parties to take all appropriate measures, and one of them was to ensure that family education includes a proper understanding of maternity as a social function and the recognition of the common responsibility of men and women in the upbringing and development of their children. Apart from the enforcement of law in the West, our federal constitution also has provided the right to education as a person's fundamental liberty in this country, where Article 12 of the federal constitution has stated that there shall be no discrimination against any citizens on the ground only of religion, race, descent, or place of birth. The gender equality in Malaysia, based on the studies conducted by the Department of Statistics of Women Empowerment, has improved to 71.4% in the year of 2020. This has shown that the feminism theories has contributed to various enforcement of law to empower the women and provides them with the fundamental liberties as a citizen of this country. That's all from me. I would pass the stage back to my friend Dalilah.
Thank you, Ms. Nurin and Ayuni. It was indeed an insightful discussion we have for today's segment. Now, we have seen a clear picture what is theory of feminism and its background and how it gives a significant impact and contribution to our society in terms of cultural and education. That's all from us. See you in the next episode. Thank you and stay safe.